In this video, I'm going to be recapping all the things that are currently being said and discussed about Charlie Kirk, starting off with gun rights.
You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
The First Amendment.
That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
And this is important because it's a clip that's kind of...
Yeah, I know. It's a clip that people kind of take out of context and says that, oh, well, because they clip it like, oh, well, the Second Amendment is worth a few gun deaths. And they leave it at that. They don't say, oh, the Second Amendment is worth a few gun deaths to protect our other God-given or other inalienable rights. They don't...
And that's not the whole argument either, Seth.
Really?
So the whole argument to that is that if you actually care about lives, then the Second Amendment is the gun deaths are kind of trivial because gun deaths kill 30,000 people, and 2/3 of that are suicides, and a large majority of the remaining of them are gang violence. And they're not going after handguns that commit gang violence; they're going after rifles, which no gang members using unless they're really, really running the streets, right?
Yeah.
And then the second argument on top of that is that there's $55,000 automobile accidents a year that result in a death. But no one, because it would save more lives, no one's arguing for getting rid of cars. No one's arguing for, restricting people's access to what kind of car they can buy.
Banning cars or having a speed limiter on them.
Yeah. So there's that argument, 55,000 people versus 30,000 people, 2/3 of which are suicides. Now, you take that a step further. 100,000 people a year die from fentanyl, but no one on the left is trying to secure the borders. So it's not the argument is, because it's a disingenuous argument that you're trying to save lives. And that's what he's pointing out. Because if you were trying to save lives, you would really go after the issues that were killing people. And and he's right. To have liberty, you will have discomfort. To have liberty, there may be people that die because free will allows people to do horrible things. But it's not worth living in a tyrannical government so that you can have a couple less gun deaths a year.
Yeah, and the problem is the left never answered the question of, all right, well, you take guns away from the law-abiding citizens, then what? I mean, so you can get rid of all guns. Then the criminals are just going to start stabbing. And what you're going to do, start taking away with knives? Then what?
You get rid of violence by regulating people.
Yeah, you get rid of violence by working with people. But, okay.
Like, I gotcha. Well, Charlie called for this. He asked for this. No, he did not. There's a strong difference between advocating for gun rights because you can protect yourself, but your personal safety, and also from a tyrannical government versus the right for mentally ill people to commit political assassinations. There's a major difference, and obviously there's some context that goes into that. He's not
pause. Because now the argument is cars aren't designed to kill people, but they do at a higher rate. If you care about people, then you don't go after guns, because there's stats that say how many lives guns save a year. The argument that guns aren't designed or cars aren't designed as death machines. What are you talking about? Have you looked at an SUV? Kinetic force is a thing, my guy. And to say that guns are just designed to kill people, no, they're not. There's skeet shooting. There are guns that are specifically designed just to target shoot with. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use a tool for anything. I could use a hammer and bash someone's skull in. That doesn't mean the hammer is a death machine.
I mean, you can take the metal bullets out your gun and put the rubber ones in. There you go.
Yeah. So this narrative that guns are just designed for one thing. Yeah, they are designed for one thing: to give people that are oppressed power.
Commit political assassinations. There's a major difference, and obviously there's some context that goes into that. He's not advocating for political assassins to take place. He's not advocating for crazy people to just go out there and be shooting people willy-nilly. No, he's acknowledging the fact that some shootings will happen, but we also can acknowledge that this this assassination of Charlie Kirk is bigger than just a random shooting. That's not what this is. This is a planned and targeted attack. That's what that was. It was an attempt to silence this extremely growing faction of people that are going against mainstream media, speaking up for the truth and being loud about it. A movement that Charlie has been behind and is highly, highly responsible for. And all this did, honestly, was push forward his beliefs even more. Yes, unfortunately, bad people get a hold of guns and they do something horrible, but I'm not looking at that clip of Charlie Kirk and think, well, he clearly asked for it because, he's fine with citizens having guns. No, that's just not how that works. Empathy. Now, there's also a clip that's going around of Charlie Kirk talking about his opinions on the word empathy, and let's just hear what he has to say.
The new communication strategy is not to do what Bill Clinton used to do, where he would say, I feel your pain. Instead, it is to say, you're actually not in pain. So let's just very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a different time.
Important. At the end, he says, sympathy is what I prefer more than the word empathy, because he feels like empathy is a word that's being taken advantage of. And it is. It is an overblown word. It is a word that has been, if we're going to explain that quote and what he was referring to and talking about, this idea that's been growing that we have to be empathetic of everybody. And there comes a point where our empathy clouds our judgment. There comes a point where you're so empathetic. Instead of just having sympathy for somebody, you're so like, I feel your pain and I don't want you to have pain here. Just take anything, where that ruins society. Something that I often think about.
I mean, it's empathy placed in the wrong places, honestly. Like empathy for criminals, too much empathy for criminals is like, yeah, you're doing too much. Like with the subway killer, right? The guy who got up and stabbed that poor young white lady. In my personal opinion, I don't think that was a race motivated crime. And it's not me having empathy for the killer, it's me understanding that, well, he had a mental health problem. He still needs to go to jail for the rest of his life. But that's me bringing understanding to it and not empathy. Empathy for the killer is that, oh, well, he should get a lighter sentence. He's had all these mental health problems and all this good stuff. The justice system abandoning him. We need to give him help, guys. That's a little bit too much empathy for somebody who committed.
You know what I say about that, Seth? If he's such a problem in society, he shouldn't be in society anymore.
I mean, here's the problem.
Period.
I mean, you lock a man up 14 times. His own mom says, yo, he does not need to be out on the street. At a certain point, we did everything we could, and they still let this man out.
Right.
At a certain point, you damn near gotta blame the government of that area.
I am of the opinion that prison should be a way to protect the population from the most violent of the population. Because I also have a hot take that if you're such a danger to the community that you can't legally own a firearm, you shouldn't be in the community. Period. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, that makes
we
sense.
we are admitting by having restrictions put on felons for firearm ownership that they are too violent to be trusted with a firearm in the community, but that doesn't mean that they can't get one. So we are admitting that someone that is too dangerous to be in the community is in the community. So I understand that prison is for reform and rehabilitation. First, that's why it's called corrections. You want to correct the way of thinking. But if you simultaneously say it's for reform, and then you can't say that person is a reformed person when they get out, then they shouldn't be out, should they?
I mean, let's be real. It's not really about reform. These guys come out more hardened criminals, more intelligent criminals. It's
More intelligent criminals. It's
university.
crime university. Jinx.
Yeah. Like, that's literally what these jails are now. We would hope they would come out not wanting to commit crime, but they come out knowing how to commit crime in a slicker way.
Yeah. So this idea, because it's where all of the criminals go to congregate, literally. So this idea that, oh, we got to be sympathetic to him because he's a problem, or empathetic to him because he's had so many problems in the community. That's more reason to lock his ass up, in
Oh,
my
and
opinion.
Monty, and I kind of do want to go into shout out Isabel's. Well, she said, "I'll play with your argument. Vehicles are greatly regulated." Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, you can greatly
Vehicles
regulate
are not a
vehicles,
right.
but here's the thing, though. Do people still drive a vehicle while having no license? Do they still crash and do all that stuff while having no license in these vehicles? Like I
Yep.
said, the
Do they
argument
drive drunk in
only,
vehicles?
like, you guys are only putting laws and making it hard for the American people when you have all these regulations, not the criminals. You understand that,
Criminals
right?
do, by definition, do not follow law. Whenever somebody can actually answer that question with a good solution, I'm not going to be for any tighter gun regulations. We have gun regulations to the hilt already, tight enough, in my opinion. If someone can actually convince me that they could pass a law that would stop mass shootings, actually stop mass shootings, then I'll listen to them.
Yeah, here's the
Because,
problem. You can add all the strict regulations you want. That's not going to stop the criminals. I mean, we could add
in
stricter
fact,
regulations on the cars. Criminals are still going to be driving cars.
yeah. In fact, I'd like to invite Isabel up. So, like, I believe she's taking a genuine stance on this. So
Mhm.
that's why I'd like to debate her on it.
All right.
Um, because if she could come up, if she's willing to do so, like, I don't want to put the spotlight on her if she doesn't want to come up. But like, just going back and forth with her in some of the chats, like, she genuinely seems like she wants to understand and doesn't just want an apology. That's kind of where I draw the line. Is if you don't care about an explanation, you just want an apology, then I can't debate with you. But she's trying to toy with the idea. So
All right. All right. Well, Isabel, if you want to come up, we'd be happy to have you on. All right.
About is this growing hatred, like infighting within the LGBTQ community, and I'm not kidding you guys. There's a growing faction of trans men who hate gay men because trans men are saying trans men are men.
Hmm.
The only reason I'm gay, I'm sorry, all due respect to females out there. The only reason I'm gay is because I don't like women, like biological women. I don't like biological women. Trans men are biological women. Obviously, that's not going to work out. So you have some gay people like, you need to be empathetic towards these trans people and recognize them as a man that they are. We're different. And then people are
I
like,
mean, a trans guy who's actually a woman wanted to date a gay man is a bit hilarious because he's like, the whole reason he's gay is so he can date a guy. You know that, right?
you're just being
Not to
straight
sit
with
there
extra
and
steps.
date a woman who cut her tits off. You know that, right?
It's just straight with extra steps.
Man.
well, that hurts their feelings. You're being transphobic. You're being a bigot. And it's being overused. It's being overused. Oh, well, we have to be empathetic towards Leah Thomas changing in the restroom and identifying as a female.
Nope.
Leah Thomas is walking into this women's locker room, slanging the elephant trunk all around, making all the biological women, feel uncomfortable. But people are using the term, oh, you have to be empathetic towards Leah. Leah identifies as a female. She's a female. That word is being
Hey, Seth.
used.
Yo.
Apparently, Isabel is Ham, and Ham got banned by Jet. The invitation still stands. That this is
Yeah,
not a chat room. This is the show.
I was thinking,
So
what did you say? No, it's all good. It's all good. Sometimes our mods be a bit too quick, and like, let's be real. When you guys are kind of put your message in there with the rest of the Charlie Kirk haters, sometimes it's hard. It's a bit hard to tell, but don't worry, guys. Next time Ham, he's cool, guys. Ham is cool, even though he does
seriously,
disagree. He disrespects.
come up and come into the chat and be vocal about what you believe. That's the best thing we can do.
He says, "I respect your opinion. We'll call in when I'm not making green eggs and ham."
in a negative manner.
I'm dead.
That's what all that was talking about. He appreciates and values the word sympathy. So people are taking this quote out of context and say, well, I don't have empathy for Charlie because Charlie doesn't like empathy. Look deeper. Stop listening to friend groups. Stop listening to tweets. Stop listening to TikToks. Like literally, just think deeper about these things, you guys. Think deeper. Think critical. And the truth will be revealed. Gay people.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to ask you, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize like they do have a choice?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement. I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your sexual attractions.
No, I agree. I like
because that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well, and you're studying something. So I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything. I just think that we have gone a long way in the negative direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom.
Ooh.
It doesn't mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but politics is about addition and multiplication. I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country. And for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
thank you.
I mean,
That's who they call him.
that sounds like
That's
homophobia
that's
to
the
you?
homophobic bigot.
What? I mean, I didn't even expect him to give like that type of sincere, like heartfelt. I mean, let's be real. It was a pretty like sincere answer, and it showed no hatred at all. He's like,
None.
all right. He's like, dog, I want to humanize you even more. You're a person. You're not just what you do in the bed, dog. Like, come on now. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But you know, the left, who's cisgender male, gay this, gay that. I mean, trans this, trans that. It's all about what y'all do in the bed.
Yeah, they all it is, really all it is people that feel like they have a lack of attention on them, want more attention on them. And it's not to say that, I don't understand, but it's to say that it doesn't matter who you are. If everybody is special in their own way, or sorry, if everybody is special, no one is special. If all you're trying to do is fit in with the crowd by being special, guess what you're doing? You're just being one of the many fucking variances out there. So it takes away from what you're actually attaining. And the problem with that line of thinking is it sends you down a rabbit hole of just trying to buck the system, just trying to be obtuse, just trying to be different. And what it is you have a whole bunch of people that are trying to one up each other on how special they are. and that's not the baseline for the thinking, but that's what it turns into, right? I don't doubt that there are people out there that genuinely feel uncomfortable in the body that they're in, right? I don't doubt that there are people out there that genuinely like men, or men that like men and women that like women. But when I start casting doubt on the messaging is when that's the first thing they say about themselves. It's like, you're way more than that. I say, hey, I'm Monty. I do this for a living. I say, hey, I'm Monty. I have a family. Hey, I'm Monty. Whatever, insert something about me. People can say more about me than, oh, yeah, that's just the gay guy.
I mean, according to the left, you're just a cisgendered white male.
Right.
And that's how they just
Yeah.
want to, and that's it.
Yeah.
What?
Like, they want to categorize everybody like it's a Google search result.
Yeah, but trust me, people are a little bit more dynamic than that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he said he doesn't agree with that lifestyle and he doesn't like gay marriage. That's fine. You don't have to think 100% with me on board, and just because you don't like what gay people do doesn't mean I'm gonna write you off as a bigot, homophobic person, and then like boom, it's not gonna talk to you for the rest of my life. No. Do you have any idea how gay Turning Point is? With all due respect. You have any idea how many gay people is employed there? Any idea how many gay influencers have been on Turning Point's platform?
Yep.
like
people try to say he was against black people, but he had a whole black conservative youth organization that Charlie
BLS, yeah.
Yeah, which was absolutely hilarious. People try to call him racist, and I'm looking at the libs like, where's your black youth group?
It's the Black Panthers and the NAACP.
Bruh. That's the thing. I mean, all right, well, where's your black political pundits that you guys boast up on? Because all I see is a bunch of white guys with colored hair. Oh, I see a bunch of white guys that you guys post up on the left. Where's your black? Like, I'm real with you. Where's your black political pundits? Where they
That
at on the
actually
left?
deals with African American issues and not just race baiting, for the record. Let's put that modification on there. Because the Black Leadership Summit talks about black issues, like actually talks about black issues in a constructive manner instead of just saying we all need reparations.
Yep. I mean, it's just, I know. And when they're just that lazy about, well, oh, well, money is going to solve all our problems.
You sound like Mr. Krabs. You
Yeah.
just sounded like Mr. Krabs.
Because it's like a running joke with these guys. It's like money, or reparation. Like these guys sound insane sometimes.
But
All right, let's
yeah.
But trust me, that's not going to save the black community. If you think it is, you're being foolish.
I can't comprehend this idea that he's this homophobic bigot just because he is very fond of his religion and he doesn't think two guys should be able to get married. There's a lot of people that think that. I personally think the government should just be out of marriage completely. But again, I'm not going to write somebody off just because they have one opinion. One opinion that may change, one opinion that we probably can reach a middle ground, like the government getting out of marriage, but very kind, very respectful, very opening to lots and lots of gay people out there. That was the Charlie I knew. Everybody knew. Like he was very nice and cool with lots of different gay people out there. It was not that big of a deal. Trans people.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things?
A transgender male? So what? You were an ugly woman who just thought she looked more like a guy, but instead of losing the weight and possibly upping your attractiveness, you just said, "Fuck it, I want to be a guy." I mean, and that's what be killing me, especially when they kind of look like this. And I'm not trying to shame her to go too hard on her, but I'm just like, sweetheart, you kind of just gave up on being a woman, and you just said, "F it, I'd rather just be a fat, sloppy guy instead of a fat, sloppy woman." I mean, but you know, she sounds like a sweetheart though.
Things like hormone therapy, because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not.
I'm gonna let this person finish, but Charlie gets called a transphobic bigot. The crowds get called transphobic bigots. There's a trans person that went through that crowd, is asking a question. No one's heckling them. No one's harassing them. No one's beating them. Charlie's sitting there being super respectful, hearing them out. That's all he ever did, was hear people out. Like he wasn't this radical person that was very mean and rude on campuses. No, he could get stern with people. He was matching energy, that's for sure. He matched energy. But this is who we're talking about as someone super transphobic.
It's helpful because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body.
Mm-hmm.
I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis, just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. It sounded like this girl might have needed to talk to Charlie Kirk before anybody else, and she wouldn't have went down this path. Like, it's kind of sad because, to be quite honest, that's all she needed to be told. It's just like, yo, you just need to work on yourself so you can love yourself, not try to change your identity.
I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
That's
bruh. That's bigoted. That's hateful. I mean, bro was nicer than me. He was way nicer than me. I'd have called her all types. I ain't gonna lie, girl. You used a fat, sloppy girl who didn't want to be that. So you want to be a fat, sloppy boy because you thought that was more acceptable. This man's way nicer than me. I'll tell you that right now. He made me feel bad for what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's how Charlie Kirk is. Like, you'll say some mean stuff, and then he'll just sit here and say the most kind-hearted things. You're just like, this is the guy that you took out? Do you know that guys like me are up next? You know that, right? It doesn't get any nicer.
That's
what I'm saying.
People are calling transphobic.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Monty.
Oh no, that's just what I'm saying, and I so this feels different, and I know a lot of people have said that, and I can't really put a finger on why this feels different. Like I've genuinely cried over this. Like I've never not seriously enough cared about what goes on in the world outside of my house other than things that I would advocate for, right? But it feels like a part of me is gone. And I didn't even watch Charlie Kirk like that. Like I wasn't like following him, not even as hardly as I follow you. Like I wait for your lives to come on. I wait for, comments to be open. I wait for you to say something. I just kind of, you know, osmotically listened to Charlie Kirk. And every time I listened to something he said, I was like, that is a much better argument than the argument that even I had for the situation. That makes more sense.
Exactly. I
And
mean, especially when he takes more
and
kind
that's
hearted.
the polite way to do it. And that's the correct way that you should be saying that, because it invites conversation and not division. I'm very much, I'm kind of I am the way I am, and I'm going to debate you and whatever. But he was very much concerned with the actual art of debate and having a conversation. And you cannot have a conversation by pushing people away. So
Well,
it's
that's what
like,
they
why do
feel
you
like.
why do you think people went up to go talk to him? Because
Yeah.
they felt comfortable enough going up and talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't do that to you, leftist condescending assholes. I mean, you think Don Lemon could do this? No. You think anybody on the left could? You think Destiny could do this? Hell no. Somebody walk up there and slap the shit out of him because he doesn't know
Yeah.
how to be respectful. I mean, that's a lot of you guys on the left. You don't know how to have respectful conversation. And it's been proven over and over again, even with the leftist guys I have on here. We damn near have to coach them into having a respectful conversation. And these are no offense to my lefties on here, well, maybe except for parabolic, but the other guys, we kind of got to tell you guys how to communicate with people, how to have a respectful conversation. And it's sad.
And we get those touchstones. I mean, at least I did from Charlie. Like I tried to. Like I'm obviously not fucking Charlie Kirk, but I tried to model the way in which I debate people to be in that direction. It's like just give them facts and then ask their opinion on the facts. Don't let them bring their talking points into a conversation. Bring facts into a conversation, and don't be condescending. Now, I'm not very good at the last part, but I try.
Man, trust me, we all try with that one, man. Like, man, we try every day. But shout out to my man Chase. Let's see here. He says it's different because he was the least violent and most understanding, loving person we had to speak for us, and he was taken from us, power and grace. And I'm just, yeah. And that's what pisses me off about his death, because I'm just like, you, the left, think it's gonna get any better? You think that, like, you guys literally killed the nicest voice we had. Now you're gonna get Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, and S.E.T. It's like, trust me, we're not the nice, and I'm nicer than those two. And those two are ahead of me, you're gonna get those before you guys get me, and you're not gonna like what you hated what Charlie Kirk had to say. Lord, you
I
really
say
it over what these guys gotta say.
I say imitation is the best form of flattery. I say people need to pick up where he left off. People need to go get that that card table and sit down, put a poster in front of it and say, I believe this. Change
But
my mind.
here's the
Seriously.
problem, Monty. Here's a problem now. Who's to say that? I mean, God forbid, let's say I go out there and do that, and I go to this leftist, and I go to these leftist areas. One dude just runs up and shoot me. Now it's like that now. Now that here's the worst part about it. This guy who shot Charlie Kirk did not get condemned hard enough to where other guys on the left is like, okay, yeah, this is not something we should be doing. We're seeing this guy get championed. We're seeing him get thanked. So what do you think this is going to promote them to do to us? When, I'll just go to jail, but at least I'm being thanked on X or all over social media. I'm being praised. What they think?
It goes two ways, right? So yeah, Charlie Kirk died, and that is horrible, right?
Yeah.
But and I don't put caveats on death a whole lot. But if there's anything to be gained from this. It's Turning Point USA has tripled in size overnight. Charlie Kirk's following has 10x overnight. People that pay attention to Charlie Kirk, it's like artists when they die. An artist's work doesn't become valuable until after they're gone and they can't do it anymore.
I mean,
And
yeah, you're right.
yeah, and I don't think that Charlie Kirk dying is a good thing, right? It breaks my heart genuinely. Like I but the amount of good that's going to come out of this is going to outweigh anything. And let's just say for argument's sake that, you know, I'm out debating somebody and someone shoots me. The same thing, I mean, not the same thing that happened with Charlie Kirk, but the same kind of, this is a pattern, is going to get cemented even more and more. And people are going to realize who the real authoritarians are, who the real deniers of truth are, who the real, you know, intolerant group is. You just, it happened dramatically with Charlie Kirk, and it can only go two ways, right? You go out and you speak truth to power every single day and stay true to yourself, and one of two things happens: either you're right, Set, you might get shot, or you might reach some more people.
Hey,
And
I'm going to take the risk on it, but definitely would have blasted you. At least I know I tried.
That is the risk of having a free society. Like he said, that's the risk of having a free society. That's the risk of expressing your opinions. That's the risk of, it shouldn't be, the risk is death. I absolutely agree, but that should not stop us.
Facts.
If that's, you should be willing to die for what you believe in, as he did.
Yeah, facts. I'll give you that one. The thing is like this. Like, trick problem. I ain't got no problem about like dying. Like, to be real with you, I've been close to death before. The problem about it is just that, you know, as you get older, you tend to stop thinking less about yourself and your recklessness because it affects, you know, more than just you. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
As much as you want to go out there and braveheart it, you got family and all that good stuff, and just like
and you have
to go
to
out there and do it with that risk, but it's like you still keep that in mind. I think that's going to keep a lot of people from taking that step.
And I just encourage them to do some introspection and think, you know, if it's not an opinion that you're not worth you don't feel is worth saying, then don't have it. If you can't defend your opinions, don't have them. If you like, whether it be right, left, center, up, down, backwards, forwards, if you cannot defend what you believe, you shouldn't hold that belief. And like, because the good old saying, you have to stand for something or you fall for anything, very, very much true. And
very much.
And again, I don't want people to die, but that is the world we live in, and the only way to eliminate darkness is to shine light on it. Otherwise, you're right, it will get worse. It will embolden people to be like this. But if every time you take someone out, the movement grows by 3 times, they're going to stop taking people out.
All right, man. Hold on now. I know my man Charles wanted us to play this video. Well, my man Charles. Chase wanted us to play this video. I think honestly, I think Seth sent this in one time, but let's hear it. Oh no, this was you, Monty.
Wow. So she asked AI what Charlie Kirk will say right now. Pretty accurate.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. I knew the risks of standing up in this cultural moment, and I'd do it all over again. Second, do not let this violence divide us further. The enemy wants chaos, fear, and retaliation. Don't give it to them. Instead, double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. Third, remember this. America is worth it. Free speech is worth it. Fighting for the unborn, for families, for sanity in a culture gone mad
it is all worth it. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy, do it with strength, and never ever let evil think it won.
And hey, that's
Exactly.
what we'd be doing if we just stopped doing it now. We just said, "Oh, I'm too afraid to go out there. These crazy leftists." Nope, do it regardless. I don't care if you got to go out there in armor and shield.
Go harder, be louder. Get you a blast shield. I saw a post of a guy in a bomb suit the other day, said going to have a slight disagreement with a leftist. and if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes, right? If you have to go out in a bulletproof vest and a blast shield, oh well, that's worth it. Because your message deserves to be out. Your message is a lot more impactful when you don't have any of that stuff on, like Charlie didn't. But if you're worried about,
crazy would that look to have blast shields or these ballistic tactical shields around Charlie Kirk? It would literally let you know where we were at, and it's sad that we got to get there now.
Yeah,
but hey, it is what it is.
Someone like that in an interaction like that, respectful, calm, telling that person how they feel, wishing them the best, going about their day. There's another one.
You're part of the problem, I think, with the hatred on trans people. It's really not that deep. Like, if someone wants to dress up however they want, that's totally fine.
Okay, so
and I think that's where the hatred
I'm
comes
not preventing you from dressing
up.
Like this. However, let me ask you a question. I will flush this out.
Ahead.
So let's pretend you say you are a woman. I know you are a man, but I refuse to call you a woman.
Okay.
Who's the hateful one?
I would say you are. I mean,
you're gonna appreciate it. Whoa! Did that guy? Hold on, that was too much.
You are a woman. I know you are a man, but I refuse to call you a woman.
Okay.
Who's the hateful one?
I mean, does that? Hey, come on, bro, guys. I really want to show y'all. This is who y'all are defending with this transgender BS, guys. This is who y'all defending. I want y'all to take a good look at this guy real quick and tell me, is he the perfect picture of mental health? I mean, is this who you want to grow up to be, guys? Like, would you like? Is this what you aspire to be? And here's the thing: on the left, they will say, "Yeah, you should aspire to be this." And this is why y'all lost a lot of the youth. I'll tell you this right now, because y'all champion-ish like this right here.
Hey, S.E.T, this is one of those things where the genome will take care of itself. Because if you sterilize yourself, your genes are not going to get passed on, thank God.
Man.
And it'll take a couple generations, but this stuff will weed itself out.
Yeah, since they're doing it to themselves.
I would say you are. I mean, I wouldn't.
So you're
going to
force me and shame me. No, hold on a second.
Anything, man.
I'm the hateful one.
It's really just like common courtesy.
It is never common courtesy to lie. Okay. You do not become a thing just because you say it, you are the thing. And guess what? Nobody in the history of the species that was born XX or born XY and transitioned is able to change their chromosomes.
I'm like, bro, it's like saying, call me a doctor because I want you to call me doctor. Just call me Dr. S.E.T, and if you don't,
it's just common courtesy. It's just common courtesy. I feel like I'm a doctor.
Yeah, so just call me a doctor. Dr. S.E.T from now on. But you're not a doctor. You didn't work as hard as a doctor to get through school. You didn't go through 8 years of schooling. It's a bit disrespectful to call yourself a doctor. Shut up, you freaking bigot. I'm a doctor. It's like, yeah.
If you move that's the thing, S.E.T. If you move the line of thinking and the logic to any other type of person, it becomes laughable. So why is it any different with sex, with gender? Why is it any different? If you would laugh if someone said, I identify as this, why do you accept it with women? I thought the Republicans hated women. It sounds like the left hates women.
I mean, shoot, I got more respect for the doctor title than what it is to be a woman. And I mean, look, I love doctors too, but man, this world don't run without women. This world ends without women. So what are y'all doing? Like, I'm just be honest with you. Like, come on now, you can't be mad when people call you
gay. A woman is an adult female who can bear children. A male is an adult male, is an adult that can produce sperm. Like it's XX chromosomes or XY chromosomes. There is no there's no fluidity to that. Like there's breaks in the binary. You know, you
I would say
have
like
people that
this. I would say like this, as Parabolic was trying to say, there's only A, B, and the 1% C. And the
yeah.
1% C is the intersex guys, the hermaphrodites.
Like so binary by definition means two things. Like literally one of two things. In computer language, it's zeros and ones. If you throw a bunch of zeros and ones that code something in binary, and then you throw a 2 in there, the whole code breaks.
Yeah. It was only supposed to be meant off the ones and zeros. It never had like equated for the two, and that's how y'all. That's what they're kind of doing us. It's like male, female, and maybe that rare intersex guy, but we barely count them. It's like they like one less than 1%. So if you're counting those guys, the intersex guys, you guys are being petty. We're talking about the mental. Oh, I'm just gonna say we're talking about the mental illness, which is transgenderism. Of the fact that you could sit there as a guy and think you're a woman, or you could sit there as a woman and think that you're a guy, and you're willing to go through all these medical procedures, understanding that you have to morph your body into becoming what you want to become, but then still think that you are that thing. Because I'm just saying, if you're a woman and you have to put yourself on the table to become a man, shouldn't that tell you that you were never meant to be a man?
Right. Oh my goodness.
Well, you would think
either XX or XY.
But
And it is an
where-
insult to women everywhere in this audience and across the country that's saying that you could just have wear makeup and dress like a woman, undergo surgery, that you magically become a woman.
You're
And
reducing women.
It's the abolition of women and is the abolition of reality.
That it can be hard to hear for some people. I will acknowledge that, but that's not transphobic. That's just the truth. There's a reason trans people exist. You have male and you have female. If you're transitioning from male to female, you're attempting to mimic the other thing, right? You're transitioning from male to female. Clearly, what that means is you were never that thing and you're never going to be that thing. I have trans friends. Love my trans friends. They acknowledge that they're what they were born as. They acknowledge their gender dysphoria. They acknowledge the mental health things that they go through. And that's all fine and dandy. And I call them what they want to be called, but you can't force that on somebody. The only reason all this attention has been on trans people the last few years is because of their involvement in transitioning minors and being involved in women's spaces. That's it. The two most protected groups of people in the world, really, for the most part, it's kind of like off limits, women and children. Trans people in the United States, the last few years have gone after women and children. There's other videos on my channel that we've talked about this in great lengths, but this is a thing that actually has happened. This is why people have become so vocal. There's a reason we see gay relations in the United States completely getting positive and getting better, and it starts plummeting when all this stuff started happening, when trans women in sports and transing children. If we're gonna look at it from a different perspective,
I mean, if y'all had just kept it with the gay, lesbian, and bi stuff, we'd have been cool with that. We'd have been able to let that slide. But when you start adding all the extra stuff, that's when we're just looking at y'all like y'all crazy. Actually, people within our own community looked at y'all like y'all crazy.
Even if they moved to transitioning themselves, I do not care what you do in your bedroom. I do not care what you do with your life. But your rights end where mine begin. Your rights end when you want to include yourself in women's spaces. You're not a woman. Your rights end when you want to compete in women's sports as a man. You're not a woman, you're a man. Your rights end like when you want to push that kids that can't even get a tattoo, can't, drive a car, can't smoke weed, can't do any of these things that adults can do, start doing adult things. That's where your rights end. You don't have the right to push that ideology on a kid. You don't have a right to even talk about that with a kid. Like, that should be the last thing on a kid's mind, is what sex they are. It's very, very, very easy to figure out what sex you are. Like, it's very, very easy. So this idea that we're being transphobic because we don't want our kids to be able to be mutilated when they go to school, without our consent, Or this idea that if a kid speaks out and says, I think I'm a girl today, that the teacher goes along with the delusion, that the teacher can talk to the student about that in a negative way, and we can't even know about it. That's an actual law in the state of Washington, by the way. This idea that, like, so your, like again, I'll say it again, your rights end where mine begin. You do not have the right to do things that infringe on other people's rights. Like, the right to raise your child the way you want to raise your child is one of those rights.
Of kids, they can't drink, they can't vote, they can't smoke. They're kids. They're not grown enough. So this thought and idea that you can give a 14-year-old a double mastectomy, and before you say, oh, it doesn't happen, Chloe Cole, it does happen. Before you say it doesn't happen or that's wrong, these are things actively going on. I have all the books. I'm talking about book bans. I have all the books in my closet. I've read them all, the LGBTQ books that have been banned. It's literally corn giving instructions on how to please yourself. For sixth graders?
Yeah, I see.
Again, I wasn't going to be sitting here being told how to think. I bought the books. You can buy them. You can look in them. And you can decide for yourself if you really think that's appropriate.
Honestly, shout out to this guy, because he literally did a video showing the books that he bought and the rhetoric inside of them. And it was literally children's book teaching them about, well, gay sex and what a trans is, what it is to be gay, a blowjob, and all this wild stuff. We're talking about teaching that to kids. Like,
right, because it's a sexual pleasure identity. It's not a sexual identity. It's not it all goes in it reverts back to sexual pleasure, which is why it's considered sinful, because that's what the Bible teaches. But that's really what it goes back to, and you can trace it back to not having any accountability for your own actions, just like everything else in the democratic process, or the democratic rhetoric. It's funny. It's funny how everything can be traced back to a certain couple of topics, and people like to say that they don't have any beliefs, they don't have any good ideas. They have all of the ideas. They have all of the beliefs. They all are consistent with their messaging. The messaging is just atrocious and horrible and doesn't make sense. So this this narrative that's being pushed, that if you say that a trans woman is a man, is somehow transphobic. No, they're a man. That is speaking truth to power. That is what it is. Now, saying that a black man is an N-word, that's racist. Saying that a black man is this or that, and generalizing an entire group, is racist.
But you know it's not racist when you sit there and you bring out black crime statistics that black people don't want to accept. That's not racist. And that's where they try to call Charlie Kirk a bigot. And I'm just like, how is he a bigot? How is he racist towards black people? Well, these crime statistics that he would name would be completely on point. Point. Here's the thing.
Or the fact,
like, it's not like that these guys couldn't argue the point back at him, because if you really look up the crime statistics Charlie Kirk was going off of, you could argue back at him some things. He was arguing 2019 FBI statistics. Why don't y'all go look up yourselves and be like, oh, well, this is because that's that, or why don't you point out this as well? Instead, you guys get mad. You don't even want to have the conversation, and you just call him a bigot and a racist, and then you walk off into the sunset like you won, like you did something.
Because they don't know how to have debate. He was able to be lazy with his debates after a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
he didn't have to look things up. He looked things up, for every debate. And then once he had that baseline set of facts and statistics, that's what he went off of, because no one bothered to challenge him on his ideas. They just wanted to attack his character and then bring up things that were completely irrelevant to the conversation to try to throw him off. And every single time they did it, they got embarrassed, which is why they got mad.
Or they just didn't even know They didn't even
They don't even know. Yeah. Like they've never even heard the crime statistics. They think that just white nationals are just going around burning crosses and hanging African
because
American.
left-wing media told them that, oh, it's the white nationals that's committing all the crimes. So ignore all the crime statistics in your neighborhood because it's all the white nationals.
Yeah.
What?
It's white nationals commit a lot more crimes. Ignore the fact that your Ring camera caught the black man breaking into your house.
Yeah, like ignore the fact that every crime ever done against you was like in your neighborhood was done by a black man. Like ignore that part, guy. Just think about the white racist. Just think about the white supremacists, okay? Don't worry about the crime in your area. Just think about white supremacy. It's like,
and they're slimy with how they do it. They don't outright come out and say, "Oh, white nationalists are lynching people." They just heavily insinuate it, like, and so if you ever call them out on it, I didn't say that. Well, you led people to believe that. That's the path you went down, and people are believing it. People are believing it. You say things about Trump and about Charlie Kirk like he's a fascist and he's a Nazi, and then you're like, well, it's just freedom of speech. Well, your freedom of speech is now impinging on other people's rights. Just the same argument that people make against burning the flag is like you can make it. It's a call to action. No, that's what a call to action looks like. A call to action looks like, saying that he's a Nazi over and over again and pulling on people's heartstrings, or saying that he's a fascist over and over again. And now you have a bullet inscribed by an assassin that says, "Hey, fascist, catch."
well, yeah, but then here's the worst part. Instead of taking responsibility for your rhetoric, you want to try to call him a right winger.
He's a right winger.
He's a graper. It's like,
no, Set. All they're trying to do is find some sort of justification so that they can feel happy about celebrating his death.
Yep.
They're twisted and they're delusional, and it's
honestly,
not
they're thinking this is a "I told you so" moment. That's the worst part.
They do, and they're so happy about it. They rejoice as if it's Christmas Day, and they just got the first thing on their Christmas list that they wished for.
Yeah, a MAGA supporter shot Charlie Kirk. No. Sadly, it was a leftist who had a transgender partner who shot Charlie Kirk.
So he debated with bullets. Charlie Kirk debated with words. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Lord knows that guy wasn't going to come out there and hear Charlie Kirk about nothing trans because, well, he's emotionally affected by it.
And you know what's the shitty part is? If that guy would have came down off that roof and talked to Charlie Kirk instead of shooting him, he would have given him the mic.
That's the craziest part about it. He literally gave. Can you imagine